This is video number 13 in the second series of videos, the videos for Essential Elements Book 2. And in this video, we're going to learn something called syncopation. This video is for all of the instruments. I need you to be open to page number 19 in your book. And then just look up here on the board. We'll be getting to your book shortly. What I have done is put up on the board a pretty basic rhythm. Okay, just 1-tay, 2-tay, 3-tay, 4-tay. Not our very most basic, but a pretty basic rhythm. If you look in your book, up in the shaded box where it says syncopation. It says syncopation occurs when an accent or emphasis is given to a note that is not on a strong beat. Well, the strong beat meaning the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so the definition I like is playing in between the beats. Playing in between the beats. That's an easy definition. Yes, is that absolutely true? Yes. You're going to see this, you've probably heard syncopation a lot in your life. If you've ever been at some kind of a concert, whether it's even just people singing in church even, and people are clapping along, and everyone's clapping along, and then someone decides to clap when everyone's not clapping, that's syncopation. So everybody's clapping like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you decide to do this. 1, tay, tay. You're clapping opposite everybody. That's syncopation. Okay, so you've done syncopation probably. Maybe when you were younger and more annoying and just trying to be funny or whatever, but you've probably done that. Now, what does it look like and what does it feel like? Well, remember when I've said a quarter note gets a number and a tay, an eighth note gets a number or a tay. I've said it probably a million times, you're sick of it. This is where it's going to be helpful. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 eighth notes and turn them back into quarter notes, but not in the place you would think. I'm going to leave this note as an eighth note, and then I'm going to change these 2 right here into a quarter note. So I've got an eighth note here, an eighth note here, and I took those 2 eighth notes and turned it into a quarter note. Okay? Now, do you see a quarter note still gets a number and a tay, but see, it's going to be a tay and then a number. Because look, this note happens on beat 1. This eighth note happens on beat 1. When does this happen? It happens on tay and 2. Now you might be able to see what I mean by playing in between the beats, because the beat's right there, but you're playing in between it. Okay? Now, if I go over here and do the same thing, I could do this through the whole measure, but I'm not going to do it every single time, okay? I'm going to now take these 2 notes right here and turn them into a quarter note. Take those 2 eighth notes and replace those 2 eighth notes with a quarter note. You see how that looks now? These 2 have become 1 quarter note. And now I'm going to make this look like a proper eighth note. Make this look like a proper eighth note. Okay? That right there is syncopation. Okay? Playing in between the beats. Now, you see these 2 eighth notes together. Why do they not look like this? Well, let me show you why. And you could see it like that, and that would be correct. But typically in your music, you don't see it like that. The reason for that is because these are part of 2 separate beats, okay? This eighth note belongs to beat 2. You see that? It's the tay of 2. And this eighth note belongs to beat 3, okay? So you're not going to see them grouped together generally. Sometimes, not usually though, okay? Most often they will be written like this. 2 eighth notes by themselves. It's easier for us as musicians to realize where the beats are if they are separated out like this. So most often you will see them like that, okay? You know how the 16th notes, they're grouped together as 1 beat? And even when you have an eighth note, 2 16th notes, they're grouped together as 1 beat. It's the same concept here. You're gonna see them like this. Now, when we're playing this, all you gotta do is give 2 clicks to your quarter notes because we have eighth notes clicking, okay? So I'm gonna count this. I'm gonna go ahead and move this beat, this number 2 to be underneath, okay? Because I think it shows, whoops, moved the wrong one. I need to move beat 4 to be underneath. I think it shows a little bit better that this is gonna get 2 clicks. 1, tay, tay, 3, tay, tay. Now why am I going, That's because that helps me remember that that quarter note needs to get 2 eighth notes. When I'm counting this, I'm going to think 1, tay, tay, 3, take, take. One, take, take. Now make sure you don't play it like that. We don't want to play it like that. But it does need to get 2 clicks. Now, at first, if this is confusing for you, what you need to think of is a short, long, short, short, long, short. Okay? Just listen once. 1, take, take, 3, take, take. 1, take, take. Now notice when I'm saying this, I'm saying 1 and 3. What happened to 2 and 4? They're now part of that. They're now part of that chord note. So 1, take, take, 3, take, take. 1, take, take, 3, take, take. Click, click, click. Click, click. Okay, now try playing that with me. And 1, take, right, say, go. 1, take, take, 3, take. Do it again. 1, take, take, 3, take, take. 1, take, take, 3, take. Okay, now let's look in your book. So again, that's syncopation, playing in between the beats. Look at 86 in your book. There's only one measure that has syncopation. See if you can find that. That's measure number 3. That's the only measure that has syncopation. They chose to do 2/4 time. I chose to do 4/4, so you can learn it both ways. There is a repeat sign. So remember, quarter note gets 2 clicks, a number and a te, and eighth note gets a number or a te. If you remember that, you're going to be just fine. Shadow bow, 86. And shadow bow, and 1, te, right, te, go. 1, te, 2, te, 1, te, 2, te, 1, te, te, 1, te, lift, repeat, click, 2, 1, te, 2, 1, te, te, 1, te, rest. Okay, try playing that now with me. And 1, te, open D, go. 1, 2, 1, te, 2, 1, te, te, 1, and repeat. Short, long, rest. Now, you may have noticed you had issues with bow distribution, that you ran out of bow, okay? You got stuck at the tip. Remember when we did dotted quarter eighth notes and I told you use 3/4 of a bow for each note to kind of compromise? Do the same thing here. Use 3/4 of a bow for the eighth note. So you're gonna have to pull a little faster on the eighth note than you normally would. And then on the quarter note, pull a little bit slower than you normally would. That will help you not get messed up with your bowing, okay? Now going to 87, it's the same rhythm, shadow bow 87. And 1, oh, turn the measurement back on, shadow bow 87. 2, shadow bow, and go. 1, te, lift, repeat. 1, te, rest, te. Play that with me now, 87. If you need to pause and practice on your own, please do so. If you're ready, play with me. And 1, te, right, te, go. 1, te, lift, repeat. 1, te, off. All right. Now, when we get to 88, you're really going to notice that bow distribution problem. All right. So you're going to get caught at the frog of this, and it's going to be a problem because you've got half notes going on. So what you need to do, look at measure 1. Fast, slow, fast. Get to the tip. Get to the tip of the bow. And you can do this, you can use like 2/3 of a bow, then get back down to here, then get all the way here. Okay? 2/3, 1/3, 2/3. You'll get there at the tip that way. All right? Because you need to be the tip for the half note. Without it, just watch. It's going to sound terrible. But just watch. If I start down here and I try to use half a bow for the eighth notes and a whole bow for the quarter note, won't be able to, then I'll really be in trouble for the half note. Watch. Don't play this. Don't ever echo this. You hear that? Not horrible, right? So I've got to get myself to the tip of the bow. So what do? 2/3, 1/3, 2/3 gets me to the tip. And then, okay, watch again. See that? Big, little, big. So do you actually use more bow on the eighth notes than the quarter notes? Absolutely, you do. That seems so backwards and so messed up, but you need to. Otherwise, you won't be at the tip to be able to do the half note. And you can't just do the same amount of bow in this case, because you've got to be at the tip or the half note's not going to happen. All right, shadow bow now, number 88. Sorry, one more thing. You might be thinking, oh, what if I just start in the middle? Then I can just be there. Yeah, that works for the first measure and the second measure, but after you do that half note measure too, you can be down here. You're gonna have that problem. Someone should go ahead and just start down here to have more practice with that bow cheating, okay? Cheat the chord note a little bit. Shadow bow, 88, and 1, te, shadow bow. Fast, slow, fast, really slow, big, little, big, slow bow. Okay, now play that with me if you're ready. Again, if your half notes sound bad, check yourself. Make sure you're getting to the tip. Playing 88 now, and 1, te, right, te, go. Big, little, big, slow bow. Okay, so get really good at 88 before we try to do 89, especially before we try to do 90. So practice these quite a bit. Again, syncopation, playing in between the beats. Bow distribution is something you got to think about. 2 clicks for a quarter note, 1 click for an eighth note. You get all that, you got to be good.